Chad from Forecast. Good to meet you, Evan. Welcome to San Francisco.
Thanks.
So, silly question right off the top. Everybody's talking about the wear and tear of artificial turf and all that.
Yeah.
Is that really a big deal? I mean, can you feel it over the course of a season playing at least half your games on turf?
I think so. I mean, it's tough for me to kind of share the only really, the two things that I can speak to in terms of that are kind of the feeling that you have when you play a long road stand on grass and then you come back to the turf, and you can feel kind of not necessarily immediate, but over the course of the first couple days back at home, you can feel that kind of the impact of the way that the turf, your body reacts to the turf. Your legs are a little bit more sore, your lower back gets sore, and so and not from personal experience, but from hearing from other guys too, that play on grass all year. When they come into play, a series, and the second or third day they're complaining about their feet hurt, their back hurt, their legs hurt, and so I know that there's been kind of mixed opinions. I've talked to the guys who do the field turf for us there, and they would say that they have all these studies that show that there's no significant impact on major injuries or whatever, but I mean, you talk to the guys and you ask them, and they say, it definitely feels different when you play here,
Sure.
than when you play on grass.
Yeah, I guess it's a far cry from back in the 70s when they essentially slapped AstroTurf on concrete.
Yeah, it's much different than that, and it's much better than that, and it's gotten better, over the years. But I mean, there's no substitute for natural grass,
Yeah. I mean, looking at the games played, you've had, 150 plus games each of the last, 6, 7, 8 seasons.
Yeah.
So what do you attribute that to? Training, regiment, just good genetics kind of formation?
No, it's not definitely not good genetics. I think it starts with the commitment to play that many games. My goal every year is going into spring is it's not numbers necessarily, it's games played. That's I think that is the biggest thing is being signing up to play that many. When you start telling yourself if I play 130 games, I'll be okay with that. It's like, I sign up to play 162 games. That's my goal every year. And so even if I'm not able to accomplish all of those, if I can push myself to play 155 or whatever it is, there's days, it's probably smarter to take a day off if you're banged up or whatever, but, the fans pay good money, the team pays good money to see me play, and so I enjoy being out there, and that's I think the most important thing is just being ready to play that many.
Obviously, AT&T Park isn't exactly a home run friendly park, but you're not a 30 home run kind of guy, but you've been very consistent in the 20s again, and looking at those numbers, obviously, for Giants fans is very attractive. Even if you do take a few off the board because of the park, that's not something that's going to crush you because you're probably going to get more doubles than triples.
No,
you're still going to get triples, right?
Yeah.
That goes out?
We'll see. I think I had a couple last year, but the goal, like I said, I've been asked that question a couple times since I've been here, in terms of the park and how it's unfavorable to home run hitters, whatever. But it's the goal is to win games. The goal is to put runs on the board, however we can do that, and it's not gonna crush me. It's not gonna hurt my feelings if I don't hit 40 home runs because of the ballpark. It's always, if you hit the ball squarely, it's gonna go out. I don't think that the ballpark is going to take many balls that were actual home runs in other parks and that are not going to be home runs here. Again, it remains to be seen. I haven't played a game here, but
right. That's right. You actually have not played a single game.
No.
That's interesting.
But at the same time, like I said, it's really about winning games, and it's not going to hurt my feelings if I don't hit.
Right. Yeah. Where'd you play in college again?
Long Beach State.
Long Beach. That's right. Good old dirtbag of this, right?
Dirtbags.
The dirtbag, that's great. Southern California. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Downey.
You were in Downey. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. With Andrew McCutchen joining the team in that trade, I'm sure that just kind of sent some more positive emotions through the club, especially after last year. I know you weren't part of the team last year, but 98 losses. A lot of people were down about the year. A lot of people attributed it to, Bum got hurt, this injury, that injury, belt, all that stuff. It might have been more than that, but it certainly looks like a nice bolster to this offense with you and Kutch coming on.
Yeah, I don't know. I know obviously if you lose 98 games, you kind of had your struggles on both sides. You can't really blame it on pitching or defense. It's kind of a team. It takes
It's a
a
culmination.
lot of it takes a lot to go wrong to lose. I mean, I've been a part of teams that have lost 90 plus games, and it's tough. And there's no one to blame. It's a collective. It's a collective loss. But yeah, I mean, I think offensively we definitely feel like we've added. Kutch and I and Austin, I think, feel like we can be great additions to the offense. Great pieces to insert. Where there may have been some holes last year. I think obviously keeping Belt healthy and on the field is going to be a big deal. Like we were talking about earlier. I mean, he's a Gold Glove caliber first baseman, and I think he led the team in home runs last year too, even though he played only half to 3/4 of the year or whatever it was. So that is important. Bringing in Kutch, I think hopefully can add offensively and defensively, and so there's a lot of. I mean, obviously having Bum healthy for a full year is a big deal, and that's really all I can speak to. I mean, I don't know the full extent of the roster. I don't know, how the back end of the bullpen's going to shape up. I don't know who's going to be the fourth and fifth starters. I mean, I know that Ty was had pitched some innings last year in the starters role, and there's a lot of things that I'm not privy to that are going to shape out in spring, and we'll figure out as a team.
Brandon Belt said something interesting. I was talking to him a few minutes ago, and said, "What was it about last year? It's hard to put one finger on as far as the 98 losses, but how are you guys going to respond this year?" And he's like, "That's all I've been thinking about all off season is winning. That's what I want to do. That's what we need to do." And last year, because he's been part of the big culture of winning here since 2010. It's almost an expectation that they're going to be in the playoffs, at least every even year, right? You've heard that before. Yeah. And he said last year, just kind of the slide happened, got in the hole early. Oh, we'll work ourselves out. And it just never happened. Yeah. And he said this year, he's going to make a concerted effort to make sure the guys respond in a similar way. Now, with your experience in Tampa Bay, obviously you've been in the playoffs and you've had those 90-plus losses. I mean, is it something you could put your finger on as a collective to try and say, hey, we got to get out of the slump now? If you try too hard, is that a problem? There's all those things we hear.
I mean, it's really tough to find the way. I've said this probably 100 times before. Like, if I had the answer to that, then I would do it. Right? Like, I would make it happen in the clubhouse. I do whatever it takes to. I do whatever it takes to get myself or the team or whoever out of that slump and turn it around immediately. But yeah, there's definitely a balance between putting enough pressure to where you're pushing yourself to figure it out and get out of it, and then putting too much pressure and having that pressure weigh you down and not be able to perform. So I think being in this baseball environment here is kind of should make it, for me, it should make it a little bit easier, because in Tampa we get some good crowds, but the crowds were sparse, and a lot of times you got to kind of bring that energy yourself. You're trying to spark yourself to play, whereas when you're playing in front of 40,000 a night, there's a spark for you already, and the fans are telling you, like, you need to turn this around. You got to figure it out, and so I think that helps with that. And I mean, he's right that it's much more fun to win, and it's all I've been thinking about too. When we've made when I came over here was, they had a bad year last year, but the winning culture is there, and the belief that we can turn it around is there, and so that's exciting to me.
Yeah. Final question. So, real generic. What are you looking forward to the most here playing in San Francisco?
The fans. I mean, playing in front of the fans. Yeah, it's a pretty simple answer for me. Is just being able to experience, playing here, and what I'm most looking forward to is having some success. Like getting out of the gate hot, both personally and as a team, and bringing that belief back into the building. Back into. Not only the team and the players, because that's I think important, and first and foremost is having the mentality change back to, okay, we lost 98 games last year, but that was last year. This is a new year. Like, let's get out of the gate hot. Let's, start believing from day one that, we're going to be in the playoffs and we're going to be competitive. And then, for myself, experiencing that personal success early on. And so I can kind of, because, even being as established as I am, and having as much belief as I do in myself, you still got to go out and do it. You still got to go out and experience some success and experience kind of the love of the fan base to like arrive. To
Right.
feel like, okay, I'm a Giant now. I can do this in a new city.
All right, cool. Well, thanks. I appreciate your time.
No problem. Thank you.